Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Gambit, and today we are back with a brand new Clash Royale video. And before we jump in to Mortar talk, I wanted to first point out that look at my very first maxed out card, the Archers. Oh, they're beautiful. I tweeted it out the other day when I got them, pretty much the minute after I got them because I was so hyped up about it. And look at those beautiful babies, man. They're so pretty. And one more thing before we jump into Mortar talk. Sorry, I just thought about this. Next week, I'll be completely gone. So I won't be streaming at all. Probably most of this week. I'll probably do a couple streams here and there. But all of next week, I won't be streaming at all. I'll have a couple videos pre-made for you guys to watch. Hopefully, you guys do enjoy them. And the reason is I'm going to be going to Niagara Falls for vacation. So I'm going to be up in New York looking at the sights. You know, the pretty waterfall and all that kind of jazz. But let's jump into some replays here. And I really want to talk about the Mortar nerf. And this is why, because I'm defending the Mortar here, okay? Because I've seen it everywhere. Ever since Clash with Ash's video, Mortar nerf has been like everywhere, along with like Royal Giant, Night Witch, and Bandit, and Battle Ram, which we already know people want those nerfed. So I just want to talk about Mortar because I'm a Mortar player, so I might be a little bit biased, but I really do enjoy playing Mortar. I don't think it's overpowered. It's just it can be if depending on who you're playing. That's the best way I can put it. Basically, what the Mortar is, it's super hard to lock on. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to get all my thoughts together here. The Mortar's super hard to lock on. It's not a super easy card to get onto the tower unless you're like this idiot who just ignores it and tries to go for a balloon push. And it's a super hard card to play defense with. But at the same time, it's an excellent defense because against giant decks, like everything behind a giant, Mortar kills. It's beautiful. That's one thing I really love about the Mortar on defense-wise. And then playing it on offense, you have like 3 tiles where you have to bring the troops into those 3 tiles and then kill them in those 3 tiles before they touch your Mortar. So you have to know mentally, you have to know where those 3 tiles are, which is it's pretty easy to know once you get used to the game or used to playing it. It's just so that's a really good point there. You really have to know the card very well, and once it does lock on, half the time it's either half dead or almost dead and only gets a couple shots off. It's not like the Expo where it does like 600 damage if it locks on for 2 seconds. Okay, it's a lot different than the Expo. I think it's a lot more skill than the Expo, personally. But the Expo does take a lot of skill, guys. It's not easy to win with the Expo. But moving on, defense-wise, I know I already touched up on it, but the Mortar's really, really good on defense for 4 elixir, and I really don't want them to nerf the Mortar. If anything, I can't even think of anything they could do to the Mortar. It's like saying people want the Knight to be nerfed. That doesn't make any sense. Just the Knight's not overpowered. It's just a really strong card. Like, I don't understand. It's like Executioner NATO. There's nothing wrong with Tornado. There's nothing wrong with Executioner. Just when you put them together, there's a problem because they're such good cards together. And I don't understand why people want to nerf the Mortar and the Knight. They're really good cards together. They work really well. You can stop almost anything with Mortar, Knight, Archers, and an Ice Spirit. Like those 4 cards, as you'll see in all these replays I'm going to be showing you, they're my bread and butter. And I really love the Mortar, guys. That's just what I wanted to put out there. Okay, so we're going to end this replay here. As you know, I'm going to win here. I'm going to take the tower in the last couple seconds and get the 2 crown and get my crown chest actually out of that. And this is when I decide to go ahead and record this video because, you know, I'm kind of running out of Clash Royale ideas. The game's getting kind of stale in my opinion. But I'm just going to show some replays, break down this deck for you guys because it is really good on ladder. So right here I played this P.E.K.K.A. Just a bridge spam deck, and a lot of times bridge spam, if you play bridge spam right, they should beat Mortar no problem because you got Battle Ram that can just charge at the Mortar, dead. Especially this dude's got a P.E.K.K.A. and just play in the middle, Bandit in the middle, Executioner can take it out. Every single card in his deck can take out my Mortar. So this is a high skill. Like I had to use something. I had to outplay this guy in order to win. Now, unfortunately, he does keep doing that. Unfortunately, he keeps wasting his Battle Ram throughout the game. And look, he's going to drop his P.E.K.K.A. This is what I see 90% of the time when someone plays a Mortar. Every single person does this to me. They play a knight or a P.E.K.K.A. or a giant or something in the middle and have it go in the other lane, and then try and kill it with a distraction. So he's got a big push over here. All I have is Goblin Gang. I meant to catch that bandit, I'm not going to lie, but it kind of worked out that we didn't catch her. I went ahead and zapped there. I got a little nervous, probably didn't need to zap there. So, right here, okay. One thing big about a mortar deck is if you can get the elixir advantage, it's game over, okay? So right here, I know I'm pretty broke in elixir, and I'm not comfortable unless all my cards are highlighted in a mortar deck. And they're only all 4 elixir, you know what I mean? So I know I'm pretty far down. And luckily, you can get positive trades with the knight, archers, mortar, hog rider. It's all good. Like, everything in here does positive trades. So I went ahead and opted for the mortar. I know it's going to die, but I can get a few shots. It's what I like to call in my head. I'm like, that's a dead mortar. Like, I say that in my head. Like, dead mortar. Like, that's when I just stop throwing elixir at the mortar because it's no longer worth it. Right there, that mortar's just to stop the battle ram, get a shot on the tower, and kill those barbs. And right here, he's going to play an executioner, which to me caught me off guard. I'm like, he has an executioner? Alright, you know. And then he plays his P.E.K.K.A. down in front of it. So right here, I'm like, oh, okay. I just used my knight. If I had my knight, I would be fine. I can drop my archers, my goblin gang, and then my knight on top. And he's going to go ahead and do a really good tornado there. He catches my ice spirit. I am going to have to... I think I do lose this tower right here, but I minimize the damage, and look at that. I've used the hog rider, and I pull him back. Unfortunately, that stupid executioner, yeah, I remember this. The executioner just had a smidget of health and took my tower. Okay, so right here, I'm down. I'm losing to this bridge spam deck. And here comes a bandit coming, so I'm just going to drop some archers, but I don't want my archers to die, so I'm going to play them in the back, so that way I can have a build up here. I'm going to put the mortar on the bridge. Now, this is really something I don't do very often, is play mortar on the tower that's down, but in this case, I really needed to because it was already so low, so I really needed to take it out. So if that meant, you know, playing a mortar and like a hog rider or two, and just taking down this tower, it's worth it. See, as you can see, look at all that elixir he threw at that mortar. I'm going in with the hog rider here, and I got perfect defense over here with ice spirit and goblin gang. I'm going to fireball all of this, and it just does a beautiful job. The bandit, unfortunately, is going to get like a 1 health charge. You know, she does it all the time. And look at this. He's almost... I saw here, he let that hog rider, knight, and archers go completely till the tower killed him. So they had a ton of health. So I just kind of rushed him right here when I saw all this. He's going to go ahead and tornado, which was a weird choice. I don't know if I would have done that. And the hog's going to get 1, 2 hits, and then it's going to go down. So I know I have to defend at least 1 more round here. So I'm going to drop Goblin Gang. I'm going to try and kill this as fast as possible. I'm going to fireball all this. The bandit charges through the fireball and lives, unfortunately. Of course, she's going to get another shot off. Right here, I'm just kind of panicking. That was the dumbest Goblin Gang I think I've ever played in my life. I'm just panicking right there, and unfortunately, he did not take my tower, which is really good for me, but bad for him. We're going to get 1 hit off with the hog rider, and with fireball, we're down to 115 health. I'm really scared of him just bum rushing me, so I'm just kind of spamming everything. But here's what he did wrong here. Instead of just putting a push together, he just kind of spammed everything in the middle and on the bridge himself. I think he could have won if he would have just put a push together. As you can see, I would have lost there in another second or two. Unfortunately. So that was a really good win. There's a couple more I want to show you. I just had some really good wins recently. These are all 2v2s. I was playing with this is the sudden death challenge from the other day, because I played this all the other day. I'm not gonna lie, when I got 13 archers, level 13 archers. So here's a really good one against a hog cycle deck. A lot of people hate that deck too. It's really simple to beat with mortar. You put mortar in the middle and just play a hog deck. It's really simple. Here's another hog deck. He's got barbarians. Oh yeah, I want to show you this. I believe this is the game I'm thinking of where I got such a good positive trade, he literally couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. I had the elixir lead the entire game. I don't know if it's this game. I think it's this game because, dude, I remember he had barbarians. So right here, I'm going to play knight down, and I'm just going to put mortar down. Whenever I have a knight and there's nothing, like a full health knight, you got to support it at least a little bit. So I put a mortar down, and I went and fireballed here thinking the fireball was going to hit that musketeer, or the mortar shot was going to hit that musketeer, and it didn't. So I went ahead and zapped. Now, as you can see right here, we are up 1 elixir. I zapped because he used that rocket, and I knew I could afford it and not lose too much elixir on him. So we're up by an elixir right now, which isn't, super good. It's not ridiculous. But I know I'm pretty comfortable in the fact that he doesn't have a fireball to kill my archers, so I play them both on the same side. And you know me, the archers are like the musketeer or a princess. You gotta keep them alive at all costs. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop down my goblin gang here. The archers do work on everything right there. I'm gonna go ahead and do a hog rider in the mix of all that. Unfortunately, he does arrow, but then he does his barbarians, which, you know, that's all right. Good job, bro. You know, you got those barbs down. I didn't know he had barbs. He plays a really weird, rushed baby dragon. If I were him, I would either play hog or nothing. Playing baby dragon was a really weak move. And unfortunately, that baby dragon isn't being targeted by the tower. So it's going to come over and shoot my archers one time. But that's okay. That's okay. But look at the lead we have on him right now. We're up 3 elixir on him. That's a pretty big deal. And then he just rushes me there with that. I can easily stop this with the elixir lead I have and get that mortar down, and it's beautiful. And one thing about this deck, guys, you need to know is when you can play mortar and when you should play hog, because I had both in my hand there. I know he has barbarians and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to play hog rider unless I have a lot more elixir, and I had a perfect setup for mortar. To me, if I have knight, archers, goblin gang, or anything behind that knight, I always play mortar. If I just have like archers or goblin gang like that, look at that fireball. Oh, it's beautiful. I play Hog Rider because the Hog Rider, in my opinion, doesn't need the knight in front of it. I rarely do it. I do it sometimes. I just rarely do it because I'd rather have the knight in front of my mortar. So right here, he just gives up. He just kind of gave up. I had such a good trade on him the entire game. I went back and watched this like 3 times just to see what I did, how I did it, and like how I learned from it. I did learn from it. It was a really good positive trade for me. That fireball at the end just kind of killed his spirits. I completely predicted him down and beat him, and he had no elixir to counter me at all. So right here, this is the early days of my battling yesterday. As you can see, we have giant skeleton, wizard, and all that kind of jazz. Most of the time I wouldn't show a deck like this, but it's so heavy, and it's got so many cards in it that are so hard for me to kill. Wizard's hard for me to beat. Witch isn't that hard for me to beat. Giant, Graveyard, Minion Horde, all these cards, they're difficult for me to beat. So he plays a giant down, so I'm going to rush him hard, and I see he's going to do this. I thought about fireballing, but I wasn't sure what deck he had, so I just went ahead and went with the archer split. And, you know, we did pretty well here on defense. He's going to play his Graveyard down, which is pretty standard. I knew that either a Graveyard was coming or a Night Witch, so I was pretty prepared for it either way. And that's one good thing about the mortar against Graveyard. As you can see, he killed most of my troops, killing that Graveyard. So my mortar just, I got you, bro, and shoots the Graveyard for you, which it splashes about 4 tiles. It kills a lot of skeletons, so it's all good with me, mortar. We're gonna get a Hog Rider off. He wasn't broke. He just went with a free spell, which was really weird. Once again, I could have fireballed, but I decided not to because I don't want to show him that I have the fireball. I want him to stupidly play his Minion Horde. That's my thought when I do this. Like when I play down my mortar, I want him to play his Minion Horde to kill it. That's what I want. That way, I get a positive trade, my mortar takes no damage, and I get good lock-on damage. Because when people play Minion Horde, they expect it to kill everything. You know what I mean? Like, they don't play anything else. They don't have a backup to the Minion Horde. And right here, I think, in my personal opinion, I did a really good job here. Killing that before it happened. And unfortunately, my knight, all I needed was one swing from that knight to kill that wizard. And that wizard does take out the rest of my tower. I mean, my mortar, sorry. I really shouldn't have played those archers if I'm thinking about it now. I should have just recognized that mortar was going to die. I was really trying to save it because I knew he was broke. And right here, we're going to go with a really aggressive Hog Rider push. But it all works out. And he has nothing right here. And I'm sorry, guys. You see how annoying he's being? You see how annoying he's being all game? I threw up some BM. And it's just going to happen all game. I'm just putting it out there for you guys. Because he's being a douchebag. Like, if someone's being a jerk back, be a jerk to them. Okay? Like, it's just how the world goes round. Okay? So he's going to do his arrows there, but he misses my archers, which is all good with me. I'm going to go ahead and stop this tower from going down. He's going to freeze and for like one skeleton, which the goblin just runs over and kills. So I had to throw up some laughy face there because he's being so annoying all game. And I have a huge push going down right here. This is where I decide to fireball because it gives me the perfect value I've been waiting for. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have waited this long to fireball. It was kind of stupid. I hit the witch and the minion horde. We're doing work here, and right here, I'm just going to let this go and spam some laughy faces at this dude because he's being such a jerk. I muted him all game since like the first 30 seconds where he kept doing angry faces every time he played a card like he was good. And then I unmuted him at the end just to see how I react to my BM. And that went on for a little while, guys. It didn't end right there. So, anyway, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. But I guess I could show you a 2v2 battle, actually. That way to show you, like, this is actually good in 2v2. So, right here, I'm playing with No Name Kid. I'm sure you've heard of him if you're from Mobeta or Get Beta. He used to be in Mobeta, now he's in Star Alliance, which is one of the top clans in the world. So, he's a really good player, and he's a buddy. So we played some 2v2s together. Like, that's no big deal. And I'm playing, as you can see down here at the bottom, I'm playing the same Hog deck, and he's playing a P.E.K.K.A. like bridge spammy deck. Now, of course, like, if you can get carried in this game, No Name is carrying me because he's got all maxed out cards. Even his Bandit and Night Witch are maxed out, which is crazy in my opinion. And my only maxed out card is the little archers right there. And see, look at that maxed out Bandit. It's crazy, dude. So they try really hard to save his Executioner's life. Like, Jesus, bros. Like, Executioner must stay alive. Which is crazy. I mean, I don't know. They kind of blew my mind. And out of all the matches I played with No Name in the past day or so, when we started playing, we lost the first couple matches, but I wasn't using this deck. And once I switched to this deck, we've only lost one match, and that was the match after this one, which you saw in my log. And we lost to, like, Royal Giant, Lava Hound, Push, so that's really hard for us to stop. I don't think, does he have Executioner? I don't think he has Executioner. Without that, it's kind of hard to do. And we just kind of full-on bum rush him right here. And look at his Ice Spirit, staying alive. Level 13 Ice Spirit lives through a level 3 Mortar. Isn't that crazy? To me, that's crazy. I have to go back and look. I think it was a level 3 Mortar. I'd have to look. I wish you could just click on here and see what level it is. But unfortunately, you can't. So I'll have to make sure and look. Because that's crazy. An Ice Spirit lived through a log? Imagine that. Maybe I should max my Ice Spirit next. And hopefully it can live through some logs. That'd be insane, dude. But at the same time, it's a legend. A log's a legendary. I don't ever play anybody with a max log. Or anywhere close to it. I think the highest level legendary I see is level 3. I don't think I've ever been played against a level 4 legendary that I can think of. I'm sure I have at least once at some point. But right here, look at this. Just no mercy to him because he's got the P.E.K.K.A. I got Mortar and Hog Rider just to do work. And look at that. 36 health. Give him a little zap. No Name Kids. Give him a little BM. It's 2v2s. Okay, if you don't BM in 2v2s, you're not really playing it right, are you? And it's not a bad BM, guys. It's not a bad BM. You can BM in 2v2s and be okay with it. It's no big deal at all. Alrighty, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. That's kind of my piece about the Mortar. I wanted to share it, how little my voice actually is. I wanted to kind of put it out there about what I think about the Mortar and how it doesn't need to be nerfed. And just a solid Mortar deck. Like, it's just, trust me, try it out. If you're new to Mortar and you're a Hog player, this is perfect deck for you. I personally made this because I'm a cheap player. Like, I played bait decks and I played the Mortar Cycle deck, and now I'm playing this weird like Hog version deck because I never play just Hog Rider decks because they never get to the tower. Like, Hog Riders are really hard to get to the tower, especially during the Inferno Tower meta that we just went through. Unfortunately, that's going away. I really like the Inferno Tower. But anyway, we're not talking about the Inferno Tower. We're talking about this deck right here. So this is a really good transition deck. Like I said, Mortar takes a lot of skill. I don't think it's going to be nerfed. Honestly, I don't think it should be. They need to focus their efforts on Night Witch and Bandit and Battle Ram, which, I mean, like, I can make a whole video on every card in the game and what I think they should do to it. But I really don't think they need nerfs. I think the Night Witch does. I really believe the Night Witch needs something. She needs to be different. Maybe, like, make her like in COC where she actually shoots like the Witch and she has a lot less health. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about either, okay? We're talking about this deck. But this deck's really good against bridge spam as well. Like I said, Knight and Archers, Ice Spirit, that combination can stop almost anything. I'm not even kidding about that. Royal Giant, Graveyard, Leap Barbs, bridge spam. They could drop anything. Like even Golem decks, like you put the Archers and the Mortar down in the middle, and then you put the Knight on whatever's behind with a Fireball maybe, and it just works so beautifully. I don't know why. Like once you get the hang of it, it's beautiful, and it just feels so good to play a deck like this where you're making all the right plays is the most important thing. It's really, really freaking fun. I really recommend it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. If you want to, check out the rest of the channel, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.